Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Andrews here with our last week of live streams. If you haven't heard already, um, this is generally our eighth grade session from 1 to 2 on Wednesdays, but obviously, eighth grade has something pretty important going on right now, and hopefully, you guys are all able to be there for the graduation. Definitely a little bit different this year compared to years past, given the current situation. But um, you know, obviously, we're going to welcome any kind of seventh or sixth graders, maybe that want to get a head start on their classwork from this week. So if you're in sixth grade or seventh grade, more than welcome to join. Or if there are, or if there happen to be any eighth graders, that were unfortunately make it to that we're not able to make it to this graduation, we are here for you guys, so we'll be able to still help out for a little bit. Hey guys, or hey Paul, how you doing? I'm back. I like it. Um, but yeah, if you haven't heard it either from myself or from any of the other teachers, this is our last week of live streams. But we will still be available, the coming weeks as the school year wraps up to kind of help you out if we need to upload or post any more videos. We are more than happy to do that. Um, I've been putting out a couple videos earlier this week just to try to go through some of the other assignments in your Blizzard bag. So check those out if I'm good. I'm doing homework. Nice. It's good to hear, sir. Um, if you want to double check some of your work on the other assignments, specifically assignments 8 through 11, uploaded some videos earlier this week on Monday and very late last night while I watched. Nice. I'm able to multitask. I like it, Paul. So if you want a little bit more specific help with those assignments, check to those videos. What our focus is going to be here in just a few minutes, we'll give some people some time to join if they want to or if they're able to. I really don't expect a whole lot of eighth graders to be here, but sometimes we have some like sixth or seventh graders that like to sit in on other schools or other classes streams, which is no problem. We've had eighth graders sit on sixth grade and seventh grade streams as well. So, but our focus is going to be on assignment 12, which is called the fourth branch. Okay. So here we see Kennedy. Hi, Kennedy. Thank you for joining. So maybe getting a head start on your work, so you don't have to wait till Friday to partake in the live stream, which is always appreciated. So Kennedy, thank you. If you're just joining us, Kennedy, if you didn't hear, we will be getting into assignment 12 in just a little bit. That one is the fourth branch. I know, like, starting at the end of this week, Blizzard Bags, this newest set that you guys have, that's going to be that's the start of when they're going to be like collected or turned in. So this Friday through next week is when these Blizzard Bags are going to be, like I said, collected or turned in. So hopefully you guys are all staying on top of the work and not getting too far behind, or some of us, I know are kind of on pace, we're right on track, kind of where we need to be, or we're finished. Kennedy, I think you said you're finished with yours, and have just about all the other ones finished from last time we talked, I think on Friday last week. So, yeah, I don't know if we will go the entire hour, just depending on how many students show up in the stream. And how much work we need to do, but I will kind of go over some. Doesn't matter if not completely finished. We still have a couple weeks, or rest of this week and a little bit next week to try to wrap up these packets. Not just for me, obviously, but other classes. So you want to try to complete as much as possible. How we're kind of doing this grading for like the Blizzard bag and stuff is really kind of just a simple pass fail. If you're demonstrating that you are trying and that you're able to make these live streams, that's definitely going to help your case. For me, I not being the most scrutinous grader, I guess we'll say, and not nitpicking every little thing, because we know it's difficult. It's hard for some people, but as long as you're showing effort, Kennedy, and trying your best on it, you have nothing to worry about. But still at least try to get as much done as you can. If you're not sure of something, you can always ask questions here in the live stream. Suck at math. Yeah, I'm not very good at math either, past like geometry. So It's been a long time since I've had to take a math class. High school was my last math class. So I did not have to take any in college, which was nice because a lot of my high school classes counted as college credit. So that was very helpful. Um, but yeah, if you have a specific question for like the math packet or something, definitely ask Mr. Fitz or Miss Holden if you can. They can help you a lot better than I can, obviously. But again, just kind of a general thumb is try the best you can. If you can't get everything, we understand that this isn't always easy for everybody. But we'll give it a few more minutes, and then, like I said, we'll take a look at assignment 12 here in our social studies Blizzard bag packet. It's called the fourth branch. Okay, it's called the fourth branch. So I'm just making sure I have all my things ready to go for whenever we start getting into this. And like I said, there's no guarantee that this will last the full hour. Just really depends on how many or how few students, I guess, we have for this stream. Just because generally this is the 8th grade stream and they have their graduation going on right now, or it will start very soon. So we'll kind of get into some of the, or we'll like I said, just kind of finish assignment 12 today, since this is the last week of live streams. But again, it's not to say that we won't have other opportunities. No, you don't. Just do the thing. Yeah, there's some helpful advice, Paul. Very nice. But yeah. So, the last few assignments in your Blizzard bag, kind of starting with assignment 8, which I think was Students Engage. That was Monday's video that I put out. It's a little bit different because there was no background reading necessarily, and it really shifted the focus from kind of looking at the histories or the origins of things like government, or this idea of kind of where our government came into existence and the 3 branches. And it really started having you guys kind of put the focus on yourselves and seeing how you as students can become engaged and involved and participate in your local community. Maybe it's on the city level, maybe it's even on the state level. Yeah, Paul's a former alum of Summit Academy Middle School. He goes to the high school upstairs. He's a very good influence, Kennedy. He's a smart kid, so he's very helpful. Sorry, I was hearing my oldest. So if I need to take a break momentarily to kind of see what his deal is, that's why. And hopefully we don't get any kind of issues with the Wi-Fi, because we've been having some issues the last couple of days. It's been kind of going in and out, losing connection, getting it, losing a connection, then getting it. So if for any reason our stream is interrupted, just give me a couple minutes and we'll try to have it back up here. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our assignment number 12. It's called the fourth branch U. So we identified how, in our government, we have 3 different branches that create it, 3 different branches of government. You have your executive branch, legislative branch, and the judicial. And sometimes what is referred to as like this kind of unwritten 4th branch, so 3 people are watching, maybe it includes myself, Kennedy, you, and Paul, or maybe somebody's just not participating in the chat, which is totally fine. Oftentimes there is an admin member. Maybe it's Miss Yingling, maybe it's Mr. Nelson or Mr. Lemke watching these streams, just to make sure students are being civil and doing what they need to do, and not just treating this like a area to goof around in. But yeah, if we look at our assignment, Kennedy, again, I can't remember specifically if you have your social studies packet finished. I think you said that you did last week. So maybe this is kind of review for you, or it's an opportunity for you to correct or fix any mistakes you may have. Sorry, my toddler's talking to himself. But yeah, we're looking at the 4th branch, and this one does not have a background reading necessarily, similar to some of the other assignments. There's a lot of visuals, a lot of graphics here to kind of help us visualize it and kind of make sense that way. So with the fourth branch, okay, we are greeted with a very short paragraph here that kind of talks about how you participating in your democracy that makes you this fourth branch of government. Okay, obviously we have the executive, legislative, and judicial. So I will go ahead and take a look and do the reading here for this little introductory paragraph. Then I'll help kind of complete the chart and help you guys fill that in if you need it, or maybe it's an opportunity for you to correct it. You're going to make some changes if you need to. So I was saying you may not feel like part of the government, but you are. The dem in the word democracy comes from the Greek word demos, meaning people. But how can one person have an impact on a government as huge as ours? So lots of ways. Emailing or phoning, it's another way of saying calling, I guess, government officials, joining a community group, writing to the newspaper, and voting are just a few ways Americans can participate in their democracy. If you understand how the government works and you're a bit of a savvy about where your opinions will have the most impact, you can be an active member of the fourth branch of our government, the citizens. So that's again sometimes what is referred to as the four branches of our government is the citizens. You got your executive branch, legislative branch, judicial branch, and the citizens. Again, it's all kind of coming from this idea of a balance of power and this system of checks and balances where each branch, the fourth branch included, has an opportunity or has a way to limit or to kind of put a halt on the power of the other branches. So what we're going to do here is then take a look and kind of fill in the very beginnings of this chart, and if we need to, we can go back and complete the table that they have for us. So the first row, again, rows go left to right and columns go up and down. The first row is asking us who is involved in our three different branches here. So I have my teacher version, which has all the answers here. So I'm not going to kind of hold it up so you guys can just copy word for word, but some of the bigger ones, I will kind of give you the answers just kind of get this organized and kind of get this going a little bit. So our executive branch, kind of who is involved? Who is that central person or who is that central figure in this branch? So in this very first box, okay, that would be our president. That is the president. Okay, that's who is mainly involved in the executive branch. So again, that first box would be president under executive branch. And then if we move, across the row here, we're falling under the legislative branch, which is then separated into two other parts. Because remember, the legislative branch has kind of two chambers or two houses to it. There's the House of Representatives. Okay, so that's who we would write under the House, our representatives. If you want to abbreviate and just put reps, REPS, you can do that. Then the other chamber of the legislative branch is the Senate. Okay, who is involved in the Senate? Senators, obviously. Okay, senators would be involved in our Senate. Okay, so just take the E off of Senate and add ORS, senators. Okay, and lastly, the judicial branch. Okay, so the very far right one. Okay, in this first row of who's involved would be justices, okay, or Supreme Court judges, if you want to put it. So how your first row should say president in the first box. Second box should be representatives or reps, senators in the third box. And then in the last one can be justices or judges. If you want to get more specific, you can put Supreme Court justices. So again, I'll kind of show you what we have here. And so we have who's involved. Again, under the executive branch, we have president, representatives. You can abbreviate and just put REPS for reps. In the Senate, we have senators. And for the judicial branch, the far right there, we have Supreme Court justices. Okay, those 9 people. And now for the rest of this, we may need to kind of look back into some previous assignments. kind of fill in the rest of this table. When it's asking what do they do, like kind of what is their job. So I'll kind of go through a couple of these, and then we will kind of, I'll complete a few more rows for you guys, and then we'll kind of move along with this. And if you have any questions, obviously ask in the chat. If you are watching live, or send a message on Google Classroom or the Hangouts thread, email, whatever you guys need to do to kind of make sense of all this. All right, so let's look at what do they do. Well, so what does each branch do? What does each person in that branch do? Okay, again, you may need to pull from another assignment to kind of help you with this. So what does the president do in the executive branch? Well, they can make, they can sign or veto laws, okay? In a simple sense, if you want to write it one way, you can put enforces the laws. That's a simple way I would do that. And I'll put it in the chat here. So this is for what do they do? So what do they do, row? And this is box 1. So you can say enforce the law. And that's law. Finish there. Simple way, a way that I was always taught and remembered how to kind of keep the 3 different branches straight and kind of what they do. Executive branch, they enforce the law. They both begin with E, okay? On box number 2 of that row, okay? Box number 2, 2 and 3 are going to be the same. So boxes number 2 and number 3 are going to be the same because they're both part of the legislative branch. Okay. Their big thing for the legislative branch, if you remember, is to try to come up or write laws. Okay. So boxes 2 and 3 will be to write laws. And then box number 4, the judicial branch. Okay. That one would be to really decide, or I guess a fancy way of saying it is interpret the law. Okay. So all these different branches deal with the law, obviously, since they are part of our government, but they each have a different responsibility or different thing to handle and to take care of. For the executive branch, they enforce the law. The legislative branch, they write the laws. And the Supreme Court, box number 4 on our table here, is they interpret the law. Really what that is saying, or what that means, is that they look at these laws that were made, okay, and decide, do they go against the Constitution or do they follow what the Constitution says? And then if it goes against the Constitution, they can rule it unconstitutional, and that law would be no more. Right? Again, it's all part of the system of checks and balances to make sure not one of these branch can kind of just run wild with power. Okay. So again, this is a good opportunity for you to maybe check your work. And then we'll kind of look at the 3rd row. So do citizens get to vote for the person? Okay, so this would be row number 3. Do citizens get to vote for the person? Again, you may need to look back at some previous assignments to help you fill in the rest of this table, but I'm going to do those first 3 rows along with you. Okay, so some of them are kind of one-word responses. Some of them are just a few keywords. Okay, so that's why I'm putting it here in the chat. So we're going to take a look at row number 3. Do citizens, regular people, you, me, everybody else, your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, do citizens get to vote for the person? Okay, so do citizens get to vote for the person? In box 1, do we get to vote for the president? Yes, we do. Citizens do. Okay. And that is, we're in an election year in November. Unless things kind of change given the state of the world right now, we're still going to have a presidential election in November. Okay. Boxes 2 and 3. Do we get to vote for senators